Hey, it's Mrs. J here, blogger-in-chief of Prayer and Pedagogy.com. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and thank you for joining me in this series, Fun Fridays in 5 minutes or less. Today I'm going to introduce you to Drawasaurus. It is a online Pictionary type game. There are a variety of platforms that do this, but I'm going to show you a couple of reasons why Drawasaurus is my most preferred choice. Let's get into it. So you're going to want to visit drawasaurus.org, emphasis on the .org, to land on this page. And you're going to start by clicking on Create Room. You definitely want to have your own private room so that it's just you and your students who have access to it. So I'm going to start by just changing the name of my room. I'm going to change the type from public to private. And when I do that, it gives me the option to have a password, which is how I will ensure that this room is only for my students and myself. One reason why I do prefer Drawasaurus over other platforms that I used to use, like Scribble, is because of the ability to change the number of max players. With some of the other platforms, there were limitations, so I had to resort to doing breakout rooms or, having multiple rooms running at one time. With this one, I can just change it to the number that I need. Include yourself in that count, so that you can have the number of max players that you need in the room. So another reason why I prefer Drawasaurus is because of the ability to do customizing with the word choice. So if I click on custom settings, I have the opportunity to put in vocabulary words or specific topics that I want to focus in on. If I put in the words and I separate them with commas. This is another great opportunity where I would go over to my word list that I like to keep up and I would use these words. The only thing about copying and pasting from here is I would need to, like, let's say I take these, I would need to backspace in order to kind of make them fit with the need for a comma. So I would just do that, put a comma in between so that it fits the formatting of the game. I'm just going to use those for some examples. So you can also click on only use custom words, and so the only words in the game would be the words that you add. If you don't click that, then it will also include some generic words. So now I get to choose how I want to customize the game further. If you have larger classes, you may want to do less rounds because each student is a own round. And so, if you have a larger class, you may want to do 1 or 2. But if you have a smaller class, you might not mind doing 3 or 4. So I'm just going to do 2 rounds. And then change the drawing time for how much time they get to draw, which is also how much time they get to guess. And then the word choices are how many options each student sees when they are choosing a word that they want to draw. I like the number 3, so boom, there we go. Start playing. So now your room has been set up and you can see the drawing tools are here. The chat box is where, and over here is where students will put in their guesses, and when they get it correct, it'll automatically let them know. And so now you need to invite your students to this specific game room. You do that by heading over here to the top left corner. If you click on the name of your game room, you will get a hyperlink that you can then share in the Zoom or send out through Remind or post in your LMS or however you're communicating. Make sure that when you share the link, you also give your students the password. So let me show you what it looks like from their end. So as a student, I would come and put in the hyperlink. And now I'm going to need to enter a nickname or your real name, however you do it for your students. And now I'm asked to enter the password. So I need to make sure that I have that information, spelled it correctly, and click on join. When I'm ready to play, I'm going to click on the ready to play. Make sure that they do that. It's important that you let the teacher know that you are ready to play. And so then they'll wait. On my end, what I will see is the students that have logged in and the little green check mark. Once I see that all of my students that I'm expecting are logged in and have the check mark, I'm going to click on ready, and that starts the game. So I have 10 seconds to choose a word, and this was what it will look like for each student. So I'm going to click on tuition. So now I have my timer here and I can see how many seconds I have to get this going. Of course, I might change the color to like green for dollars sign. They are not supposed to use words or letters. And so on the student end, what they will see is the drawing. They get a clue as to how many letters are in the word, and then they will have to guess, right? And so as they do that, when they get it right, they get points, and then they can see each of others, people who are competing in the game along with them. Now it's their turn to choose, and so they get to pick a word, and then they get to draw. And it's as simple. I hope you enjoyed learning about Drawasaurus, and if you decide to use this in your classroom or you and your kids enjoy it, please come back and let me know or send me a message. I hope that you are finding this series useful. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you as always for joining me at the intersection of prayer and pedagogy. See you next time.